Hi, I'm Mark McPherson with what I call a communication tip. Now this communication tip comes from a larger communication tip I call Real Flair, and that's an acronym. So each letter in Real Flair means something or stands for something. Now in Real Flair, the last R, the second R, stands for take responsibility. Responsibility for minor misunderstandings and miscommunication. Now, I'm not suggesting you should go around the place taking responsibility for every misunderstanding that happens, but sometimes it's really worthwhile to get in first and actually say, it was my mistake, I didn't make myself clear, or whatever it happens to be. Now, I'll give you an example. A while ago, my wife and I are driving down a motorway. I look across at where they put up this soundboard type thing to stop the noise going to the houses on the other side as much as it can. And it sort of had some sort of motive or maybe an Aboriginal design. I'm not sure if that's even the correct terminology, and my apologies if I offend anyone, but it had some design. And I said, oh wow, I think that's a good idea what they've done there. Not very clear. I just assumed that my wife knew exactly what I was talking about, magically. Now, what also was on this road is between the lanes, with 3 lanes this way and 3 lanes coming that way, was a whole pile of rubble. The median strip hadn't been finished off. There was rubble, and they'd planted some plants and they were dead and all that sort of stuff. She thought I was talking about that. So she looks at me, or she was driving, so she didn't look at me, and she said something like this, I don't think it looks good at all. And I thought, oh, no, I think it looks really, really good. And went on and said, oh, it hasn't not even finished, it's rubbish. To which then I thought, oh, terrible person saying such things about our Indigenous artwork or whatever it was that was going through my mind. I was quite shocked. I looked at her and thought, what are you talking about? It's fantastic. I mean, it's a sensible idea and it really looks good. Or basically what's wrong with you? Didn't say it like that, I can assure you. So this went back and forth where we were talking about 2 different things. Eventually it twigged to sort of both of us. Oh, you're talking about the sound insulation stuff, and my wife, oh, you're talking about all that rubbish. Of course, okay. Now, what I jumped in and said was, I'm really sorry, I didn't make myself clear. I just waved my hand like that and thought you knew what I was talking about. Sorry. End of conversation. That's it. Wasn't a big deal. No harm done. Misunderstandings happen all the time. But the reason why I think it's important is because in some conversations, particularly in a business sense, when you have misunderstandings, if you can take responsibility for not making yourself clear in the first place, or say, oh, look, I'm really sorry, I thought you were talking about such and such, my mistake. What you really want to say sometimes is, oh, I thought you were talking about such and such. You didn't make it very clear or obvious what you were talking about. That might be what you want to say, but don't. Take responsibility. So that little tip comes from my acronym, or my larger communication tip, Real Flair. And that R at the end stands for take responsibility, if you can, if it's appropriate, if it's meaningful. Take responsibility for little misunderstandings where you can simply just take the responsibility and move on. Let's leave it there. Whatever you're doing, look after yourselves, look after your family and friends. All the very best. Go to the contact page of my website. Plenty of ways of getting in contact with me there. All the very best, and I do hope to chat to you soon. See you later.